everyone, welcome to the channel for a new video. Since I had a bit of spare time, I thought about something new, which is give my comments on internal balance of an army book that I play. Obviously, a couple of disclaimers needed here. First of all, these are only my personal opinion. I thought it might be interesting to open the discussion or first of all, give my insight as a player that plays an army regularly at a quite competitive level, what I think could be improved. So I think that could be, I hope, helpful for the staff. It shouldn't be seen as a criticizing what has been done. I'm quite happy about the way version 3.0 is improving. I think getting the right balance in the army book and season pack and so on is quite difficult and has also been seen so by the staff as I've been able to read. They were also expecting that it needs more time to get the right balance for the army book and also like season pack. So I think that's completely fine. But yeah, I thought I might as well share with you my opinion about, at the moment I'm playing a lot of Infernal Dwarves, so I have an opinion. Let's see what's the current state of the book after hotfix 6. Just giving my comment, what I think should be improved, what is too strong, what is too weak. I hope this helps. This also open the discussion with you following the channel. You might also be playing Infernal Dwarves or against Infernal Dwarves and you might have also opinion to share or wants to get a discussion about the book. So I would be happy to in the comment section if you want to. Okay, let's go. So it's the last version that just was released end of January. As always, I like the little fluff part at the beginning of the book. Let's start with army model rule. So what's the state? Oil flask has been seen too strong, so now is limited by a number of occurrence. I think it's the right design, to be honest. I like it. It's not as strong as it was before, so it has the consequences of making harder to use the oil flask mechanism to get a reroll to wound. So it has been definitely harder nowadays to get reroll to wound for Infernal Dwarves. You have hereditary and you have those oil flask, but yeah, you have to think twice before using it. For example, with Vassal Cav, it's not that easy to activate. You need basically to get multiple units with that if you want to make sure that you get it. So it's not that easy as it was before, but I think it's quite balanced. And this has also allowed, for example, the bow in core to come back to a more decent price. Torque Ritual, I think it's a big issue. Already since version 2.0, it has been a long time since I have the miniatures behind me, a Torque Ritual model that I haven't been able to field on the battlefield. So I think it's a huge problem to get them playable. Yeah, I think first of all is maybe the option given by Torque Ritual. You don't get any additional armor, so it gets hard to get a good build. Basically, you just get quicker. But then you change to size 2, meaning you can get easily targeted if you don't have a unit of a Torque Enforcer to be within. So it's not that easy as always to use, and yeah, we don't see those in the list and in the table. So on the table. So definitely an issue here. What would be? I will also try to maybe give some ideas. Like I said, these are only my personal opinion. I don't think it's the best, but just try to give also some solution, because I think it's easy to just say that's not good, that should be improved, but not give any solution. So Torque Ritual, what would I do? First of all, it's kind of a mount thing, so for me it wouldn't be strange that it gives +1 armor save, but I can get that maybe it leads to too strong build. I don't know. Can you get away? I think they want to avoid maybe the 1-up rerollable could be achievable with Ghostly Guard, and I think that's what they wanted to avoid, Ghostly Guard and the Dusk Forge. So maybe that's the thing they wanted to avoid. Yeah, we could also put a restriction on Ghostly Guard in the army book. Maybe I don't know, or maybe Torque Ritual cannot use Ghostly Guard if it's that the thing that blocks them. But what are other solutions is just coming down with the price until a price that people might want to pay, but you will see they tried that already. That's why I'm trying to coming up with design change, because I think price wise they have been making some effort to make it more accessible. It has had a huge point deduction, and for example on the Vizier it's quite cheap. It's also free, for example on the Prophet. So I think the problem is not the design here, not the price here. It's more about the design. Try to make it more attractive, because has like an upgrade. It doesn't give you any additional attack, which makes sense because it's a single model. But maybe something on the armor save. I think something has to be found to make it slightly more attractive here. But I see the issue with the 1-up rollable if they want. It's only against magical attack first of all, but that could be a way to block unit. But not sure it's as strong as it was in the version 2.0, because nowadays you are fighting against a huge combat race. So I don't think an overlord with a 1-up rollable would be able to stick an entire unit, because like 4 rank banner +1 to wound against you. I don't think it works that well. So I'm not sure that the 1-up rollable Ghostly Guard is that much of an issue, to be honest. So yeah, I think my proposal here would be maybe +1 armor save, even if that include some small price increase, but that would give something more. You can get maybe more fighty character. I don't know, that's an idea. Volcanic Embrace, I like the way it is. It has been a lot of changes at the beginning, following a little bit the change of alchemy. Now grand attack, zeal against metal armor, wound on the 4+ against everybody. I think that's quite okay. So happy with that. Blunderbuss, also design change. So the always eating on 5-up was definitely a problem. I think it's much better now. What I think is more problematic, I think the design is fine. More problematic might be the price. I think it's still a bit expensive. It's still too much aligned to how it was before. And I think with the new design, it should be decreased a little bit. Let's move on to the machines. I think at the moment we see a lot of rocket batteries. They are definitely too strong. I would say if you compare rocket battery in the version 2.0 to the version 3.0, I think 2.0 you suffer from cover. You had on the gunnery, it's particularly appealing on the gunnery team because of the number of chains, but definitely just the cover change and the +1 to hit against the 3 ranks or more from infantry, or 2 ranks size 3, or 1 rank size 5. So it's a lot of positive change. So definitely for me, rocket battery might be the worst offender in the Infernal Dwarves army book, and especially you might also it's also very strong against infantry. I played the game another day, like you get an opponent with 2 rocket battery, 8 shot, 3+, 2+. I mean, it's still quite good against infantry. So I think it's too strong here. And for me, it's more about the design rather than the price. I think, you can increase the price to a point that people won't play it at all. So I think it's more here to find a little nerf on the design to make it still good, but slightly. I think it's maybe towards maybe the problem might be the +1 to hit. But that's calls from artillery. I don't know. The thing with the cover, or it could maybe the fact that it's all due to the artillery. The fact that you get maybe it's about the accurate also as well. You know that Infernal Dwarves were, I think, the only one to keep the accurate. So maybe accurate might be the issue here. That could be a quick fix actually. Titan Mortar are also very strong, so I think that could be a quick fix to fix both the rocket battery and the Titan Mortar. Would be just to delete accurate. I think that could make sense, and we could keep potentially accurate on the rocket battery on the ground. Maybe, I don't know. It had that before. This version of I think the old version of the rocket battery on the ground had accurate. I don't know if it's needed or not, but I think here my proposal would be to remove accurate rather than increase the price. But definitely at the moment, Titan Mortar, rocket battery are in almost every list, so I think too strong. Magical item. A couple of things here to mention. I think Onyx Core hasn't seen the table for a while, due mainly, first of all, the price, and second of all, weakness flaming attack. It's harder to achieve. Like I mentioned, with the new oil flask, it has been harder to get. So that makes the Onyx Core even more difficult to use. So here I would just propose, I think the design, it's how it is, how it has been for a while. I would just propose decrease of price here. Flame of the East, something I've been quite vocal about on the ID forum. I've been multiple times mentioning I don't get why we have the restriction hate 1 only, because in the old book, the design was exactly the same, but no restriction for hate 1. I think you could even take it on Overlord on a Great Bull, for example. So why the restriction now? I mean, it's exactly the same item as it was in version 2.0. I think the same price. And for example, it's frustrating that you cannot take it like on a Commissioner or mounted Overlord. So I don't get it. To be honest, I don't get it. Why we can't take Flame of the East on all kind of height. So that should be deleted, definitely. Eye of the Bull hasn't seen the table a lot. Maybe small price decrease would be needed. Candy Binding has had change of design. I think in the, if I remember correctly, in the old book, version 2.0, it was also giving +1 armor save. And now basically it's only giving you the option to use 2 like paired weapon and still have the effect of the shield, while also improving slightly flaming attack, which doesn't matter that much, to be honest. So I like better the old design here. I think it's the same price like it was before. It lost the parry as well. Yeah, it was giving parry. No, I think it's the parry. It's not the +1 arm save. Huh. Parry. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you might correct me if I'm wrong. I think it gave +1 armor save, parry, and a hand and a half. Can that be? I'm not sure about the +1 armor save, but definitely parry, which is already a big change here. So I think the design should be a bit better, or then you just might decrease the price. Why not? Banner of Shamut is fine. Twice Branded, quite a lot taken in core, should be a bit more expensive, I guess. Breath of the Brass Bull, never seen it in a while on the table, so it's a new design. I think the design is okay. It might be just too expensive. I think small decrease, like 10-15 points, should make it more playable. The tablet, I think, remember before we had more expensive casting value, and in the current version, I mean 4 or more dice, you don't do it that much in the magic phase. It might be 1 time per magic phase. It's not happening that often, so definitely I think the item here need to be redesigned like it was in the previous version, which was 3 or more dice. I think that would be the good design for me, even if that involves a slight price increase, but I think that would be more useful, basically. Mask of the Ages, yeah, we don't see it a lot. I was asking myself about hate 1 only. That's also part of the problem for Toric Ritual. Things like Flame of the East or Mask of the Ages, limited for only 8-1, doesn't help of making Toric Ritual more appealing. I don't see here the issue of making it available at least to size 2. We can discuss about the size 4. We have Toric Anointed. We have the Bull. Bull doesn't matter because there's already a ward save. I'm thinking about the Toric Commissioner. Might be an issue. I'm not sure. The fact that he gets hatred might be too strong, maybe. But at least I would give it to hate 2. I think that there is no reason not to give it accessible, I think, to the Toric Ritual. Look at Ice. Look at Ice, yeah, I think we don't see it. Why? Because the problem with the new Bull of Shamut mount, it was played a lot with the Overlord on the Bull of Shamut, and now that the Bull of Shamut only allows you to get to a 3-up armor save, basically it's not as reliable as before, making it too squishy or sensitive for a model that's so expensive. So basically, that's why we don't see Look at Ice anymore. I still think it's a decent item. I think it's more to do about the problems in the mount section, but we will come to that later. Shared magic item, Duskforge. I don't get why it's 75 points. It might be strong for some army. I don't know who plays that. I think it's just expensive because of the combination of Ghostly Guard and Duskforge to make the 1-up rollable. But like I said, it's not so strong as before, and if you don't like it, I would prefer a redesign rather than, you know, sometimes you come to a point where you say, okay, the design is quite strong, it's problematic on some character builds, so let's make it more expensive. And then you get to a point where it's not played anymore. So I think that's not the right solution for me. You can play with the price a little bit, but then when it stays problematic, it's exactly the same for me with the Rocket Battery. It has taken like 30 points more, and you still see it in every list. That just means that it's a problem of design, because if you increase 20, maybe people will continue to play. Maybe you increase 50, people will stop. And then you just kill an entry in the army book. So that's for me exactly the same here. I would advise here design change rather than just this amount of point, because who is going to pay 75 points for rerolling the armor save? Never seen that in Infernal Dwarves list. I also think rending banners is quite expensive, which surprised me, 60 points for that. That was surprising for me. I'm fine with the change on the black power. I think it's good. Yeah, the Overlord, I think it's on foot. It's still a decent character, not that useful. And the mounted version are for me problematic. But we will come to the mount. I think it's more to do... Yeah, it's really to the mount. So it's common to multiple characters. So we'll talk when we reach the mount. Prophet. We don't see a lot of Shamut and Ashurk. So it's mainly between Lugar and Nezibkesh. I think Nezibkesh is more balanced since, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Engineer now is... like capped to max hitting on 3+. So Nezibkesh might be limited because, for example, if you have Titan Mortar shooting at infantry, you already hit on 3+. So it's not as strong as it was before, and I think it's better that way. The Lugar is still helpful to get a ward save in exchange for your armor save, basically. And then Ashurk, yeah, exchange one spell for Alchemy Occultist Pyro. It's always nice to get those spells. Might be slightly too expensive. I think the design is okay. Maybe 10 points less would be fine. And Shamut, it has to do with the mount option, because Shamut forces you to be mounted either on Torok Ritual, Bull of Shamut, Great Wood of Shamut. And at the moment, all of them are problematic or underperforming, we could say. The Vizier, I didn't see a lot of Captain. I think it's still decent for the price. It's not that expensive, so you can do some good Captain with 150 points of magical item. So seems fine for me. The only thing, again, I would come to the mount section, which I think are all problematic. To be honest, we don't see any of them regularly on the table at the moment. Toy Commissioner. It's also somebody who has been on the shelter for a while. It's hard. It's hard for him. I think it has to do with the state of Choke Anointed, with the fact that size 1 at the moment is very strong. And I think the Anointed Star, which used to be one of the key units of the version 2.0, is not as strong just because of the change on the infantry. I think that's definitely something. And then Commissioner himself, I don't think he's that much of a problem. Here, my advice would be for Anointed and Commissioner just to decrease the point. I think that would be the best way to solve the issue or make it more playable. I think this balance thing between the height of the unit, I think it can be easily solved just with point, decrease or increase. Conjurer, a bit expensive, but yeah, it's an adept, has 3 spells, some good lore, so that's fine. The Scholar, with the change on Living Steel, it's a bit less attractive than before, so we might, and also height 4 is always an issue because, like I said, you don't have that many. You will see the Torque Anointed and also the Instrument of Destruction, you don't have that many of them in the list at the moment. Or I could even say you don't have them at all in the list at the moment, meaning you have trouble to hide your Lamassu Scholar, which is holding some precious spell, and playing him without something big in front of him to hide him. It's suicidal. It might die at some point and then you lose your magic. So I think it more has to do with playability, has more to do with the state of basically the height 4 and 5 in the army book, I would say. Okay, let's come to the mount. The mount for me are a bit of a problem at the moment in the army book. Seat of Authority, I wouldn't be surprised to... it would have been interesting for me to see the algorithm result of the occurrence at which the player plays this unit on the table, because they have this kind of data in the 9th age. I think here it's more, my point of view is more focused obviously on the competitive competitive part of the community. So I'm more looking at the tournament which are quite competitive that I play or I follow. So basically my view is more focused on that. I might be biased, obviously, it's my view only. I don't have the whole data about all player playing in the world, but still I think the competitive scene gives you a good overview of what's good and what's not good, because the player have to, they pick what's best. So Seat of Authority, I don't think it's bad. I would decrease the price here. I think the design is still fine. It has more to do with the state of the bastion and other stuff. I would just decrease a little bit the price. The Vassal Steed, yeah, it's not played at all. I think it made just a quite expensive mage, 250 plus 15. Vulnerable in this unit of Vassal Cav, so yeah, that's why it's not so taken. Kadim Chariot has been seen increase in price. I think it was a good mount before. I like it a lot, but to the price that is now, I would be intrigued to see the change. I don't recall how much it was, but I remember it was quite cheap before, and now it's 75. Still makes it 365 for the Prophet on the Chariot. I think here the issue might just be the price. It has been, I think, increased a bit too much, in my opinion. Bull of Shamut, yeah, it's not played at all. Not at all. I think I'm being a bit too harsh here. We saw a little bit of Bull of Shamut. Vizier with nothing, just paired weapon on Bull of Shamut is 280. So that's quite good for the price, definitely. Something I've been myself considering. I think it gives flexibility to the list, and for this price it's quite good. But it's very extreme for me. So this very cheap, like kind of basic price of the bull, if you pay like a Prophet or Vizier, I think it's quite good. It's okay, let's say it's okay. But then the more expensive version, like Master and Overlord, you can forget because of the armor save 3-up. You don't want to get an expensive character with a 3-up armor save. That's way too vulnerable. So I think that might be the issue. I understand the idea of... I don't know, was 2-up armor save on Bull of Shamut an issue? To be honest, I would put it like it was. Basically, giving you... I think before it was just giving +1 armor save. It was like C +1. So just giving you +1 armor save, which I think is good because then it allows you to come to a 2-up armor save and it's okay, and then it's playable, but you have to pay for it. At the moment, since it's included in the price, it basically pushes you towards paying nothing more, keeping it cheap. 280 Vizier, 3-up, 5-up, very decent, lot of strength 4, strength 5 attack, totally fine. So I think here my advice would be to put it back to C +1. I think that would make it playable again, definitely. Let's move on. The Great Bull. Yeah, Great Bull is very problematic. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while. I think it's due to the changes for me. First of all, I think Fly should be light troop. Fly should be light troop. I think that's the main thing here. If you take the concept of Fly move, you should have the freedom to be light troop and to have more maneuverability. I think that's the first point here that I would adjust on possibly all Fly unit. I don't see, maybe there are issues with that, but that's the way I would go. A light troop, and then in exchange for that you don't have the ranks, but that's fine. I mean, you're more maneuverable. In exchange for that you don't have the ranks. I would put it light troop personally. So that's the first issue here. And then the second issue is obviously has to do with the current state of height 5 against fighting against units that have +1 to wound against them. Another problem here was obviously the change in the breast attack, because before you had this, yeah, it was like a wrecking ball. Basically, you can send him in combat and take advantage from the number of attack, the stomp, the impact, and the breast attack was definitely a huge factor because it's flaming, divine, you can get roll to wound. And now that the breast attack doesn't work in close combat, it's obviously a huge blow for the Great Bull of Shamut. So I think here my 2 pieces of advice would be light troop and a bit cheaper. I think that's what I would do. Infernal Bastion, yeah, unplayable at the moment. Due to the current state of artillery and due to design, the fact that you are voluntary targeted means that, yeah, you saw that in the tournament I played last year. You just get targeted, and nowadays with cannon, you will die quickly. So I think it's a huge price, first of all, and there is a design problem. So I don't know how to solve it. You might hear the solution might be either one of them, price or design, or both, basically. It's kind of hard to say. It's quite expensive. I think it's 380 in the special section. So it's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot. So I hope they do something on the Bastion, because it has been an iconic entry in the army book, and I think at the moment it's just not playable at all. I haven't seen it for a while, at least. So here I wouldn't change something for the Bastion. And also the resilience, it's not as good as it was due to the change of hate 1. But yeah, I don't know for this one, because you get enough model in the unit due to the base of the Bastion. So you might as well don't get that much the +1 toon against you. Yeah, I think either move the price down or change a bit the design that the Bastion doesn't get hit that much. I don't know. I think maybe just the price might be the solution. Then you accept the fact that he gets all the shot against him. I don't know. Or just put it back. Why does that have to be that he takes all the shot here? You can shoot it, but the opponent can still decide. Yeah, all the shot. Why not all the shot? The concept that the guys are inside the Bastion is hard to shoot. Then just decrease the price. Yeah. Core section, I think blunderbuss are too expensive. I'm fine with the design, but I think they kept a too high price for what they do now, I would say. Just decrease like a point or two. Citadel seems quite fine. The levies are also okay. The slave, I think, are too expensive. I'm playing them at the moment, but almost nobody plays them. And for me, the sole reason is I'm playing occultism and I need something to sacrifice. But yeah, I think they need just a price decrease here, I would say. And also, can we remove this rule? I mean, I don't know. Chain together, I don't like it. Just that. Performing, you lose d6. It just time consuming, doesn't bring much. Or you just say, if you do a march move, you lose 2 guys. Why not? Make it fix. Why d6? And if I'm not mistaken, if you roll like a 6 on a unit of 20, you still get the panic check. At least that's how I play it. So do you want to get panic check and a risk to flee? I think that's annoying. Then you roll panic check. I would just do 2 HP and this couldn't cause a panic check. That's it. I mean, a unit marching, they are losing guys. That's already a strange mechanic. And since they are losing guys, that could inflict a panic check and they could potentially flee. I think I would just remove that. Does that make them too strong? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think so. So I would remove that part to make it simple. And I think it goes to the spirit of the version 2.0. Kadim Incarnate. I'm quite happy with the design, about what they did. I think here the problem might only be the price. I think it's all has to do... Yeah, they got defensive too, so that's definitely weaker, and I think they kept a similar price. So I would just here decrease a little bit the price, and I think they would be fine. It also has to do with the balance between hate 3 and hate 1, +1 toon, blah blah blah. So I think I would just decrease a little bit the price, and they seem fine. Chariot, we don't see a lot of them. Maybe just a small decrease of 10 points would be fine. Immortal are quite good. They are in almost every list. Due to Defy Death is really strong. They are very resilient. So here I would definitely increase a bit the price. I think that's well deserved. Lugar seems quite fine. Enforcers, we don't see them a lot. I tried them. I think they are decent. A larger unit, never on the table. Small unit, I saw that in my list. I don't think people... I saw some mid-size units sometimes. For me, it has also to do with the fact it's not hate 1 with a lot of ranks and so on. But it has also something to do with their rule. I think something that could be interesting would be to put a bodyguard overlord maybe on them. That could make sense. Because Anointed have bodyguard or commissioner. So if you put bodyguard on overlord or ritual, I think that makes sense in a way. Because an overlord that has become himself an enforcer and as their leader that could be recognized with bodyguard. Why not? I understand that they don't want maybe too much bodyguard, but that could be a way to put enforcers and overlord or ritual back on the table. So why not? That's something I would consider, to be honest. Anointed, I think like the Incarnate, I would just decrease a little bit the price. But other than that, I don't think the design is problematic. It has been the same, more or less. Yeah, it has been the same since the version 2. For me, it has more to do, I think, with the price in comparison to the infantry, like Immortals, that are a little bit under cost. Cavalry is fine. Slingshot seems fine as well. Yeah, it's hard to hit, but it's cheap, so that's fine. Gunnery, yeah, that's the worst offender in the army book at the moment. I think both the option Rocket Battery and Titan Mortar are just too good. Like I said, here I would definitely consider, they already put plus 30 points on the Rocket, I think also on the Titan Mortar. It's strong, I like that it's playable, that's cool, because it's something we haven't seen in version 2.0, but I think here the design needs to be nerfed a little bit. I would just consider maybe removing accurate would be a good way, because you can still get that feeling, I go into short range, it's going to be very deadly, I'm going to do a lot of casualties. So I like that fact that you are like push, or there is an incentive into getting into short range. I think that makes sense. So maybe I would remove accurate for the gunnery team, rocket battery and a Titan mortar. Infernal artillery, we don't see them that much. I think the NAFTA, I've been playing it, I like it quite. I think here I would probably keep the accurate for those version Infernal artillery to distinguish them from the gunnery team. And basically, if that's too powerful, then I would just increase the price of rocket battery and Titan mortar, and I think that would be fine. So that would be my way to go to balance a little bit more the machines. Bastion, yeah, it's problematic. I think can be solved by a price decrease potentially. I think it has been like 320 at some point in the version 2.0, so it's quite expensive. I think I would try just to push down the price until it's playable again. It obviously has to do with the strength of the war machine at the moment, definitely. I think the fact that everything is solved against the Bastion, yeah, why not? Why not? It's not a bad design. I think here the solution seems to be the price, I would say. Okay, Instrument of Destruction, that's definitely a category that struggles a bit. We have seen some Infernal Engine, so I think it's not that bad, especially, for example, Titan Mortar or the NAFTA. Yeah, it's okay. I would say Infernal Engine is not that bad. Seems in a good spot, and the design is quite balanced. It can charge that far, but that's okay. So, yeah, I would say not that bad, the engine. Obviously, it suffers a lot against alchemy and cannon, so that's the problem, but it already was before, and I think that has to be, it's part of the design, so why not? Titan struggles. I think both the shooty version and the combat version are in a bad spot at the moment. Design-wise, I don't know exactly what to do. I think that's how it is. It's the design that is like wished for the version, so I think there is not much you can do. Like I've been saying, I have been slightly frustrated by the lack of lateral movement for those single model. It's still, in my opinion, a problem that Kadim Titan can only move laterally, the Fighty Titan can only move, and the Shooty is even worse. But like the Shooty version, it's mob 4, so you can only move to the side 2 inches. 2 inches, so it has less lateral movement as Kadim Incarnate, that is a whole unit of multiple bodies. So for me, still the lack of lateral movement of those single model is a bit of an issue. I understand what they wanted to avoid. I think that can be easily solved with the march rate more than the lateral, those limitations for the lateral and backwards movement. I think are a bit too limited, but here I think the solution would be points, definitely. I don't see a lot of design change here. I think it's quite stable like it was before, so I would more advocate for decreasing the points and see if people are playing it a little bit more. And then we have the Giant. Giant, yeah, it has been a huge change since the version 2.0 because of the armor save. It has a 3-up armor save in version 2, and now it's only a 4-up armor save, a 5-up, and if you take Tower Shield you can move to a 4-up. So definitely is not that durable in comparison to the previous version. There is obviously also the issue around that if you suffer 3 health points, then you take a panic check. Obviously an issue. I don't know what could be the solution. We could give him potentially disciplined citizen giant. Why not? To help him a bit. No, I'm not sure it's deserved. Maybe just decrease the point. Just decrease the point. And I think here the best version is definitely the tower shield that still keeps you 4 up hard target parry, so you can still be decent against range damage and be annoying. So I think the version tower shield is fine, but might be just too expensive, I would say. Might be just too expensive. That would be my comment here. Okay, guys, I've done it. So I hope you like this review. Like I said, my personal view, I might be biased because I play ID. So sometimes when you play a book, you wish for too many good things. I try to give just my insight on the internal balance, just to give you a sense of what I think is a bit underpowered, what I think is a bit too good. And we will see what they do in the future. I'm very intrigued by the future trend, obviously. I think something that is common to all army book, and for me is a huge issue, is the fresh meat. Fresh meat allows you, I think like you can play 8 Kadim Incarnate or stuff like that. You can go above the limitation of the unit, which I think is a huge issue because those limitation of unit have been chosen for a reason. It's a way to be balanced. So I think it attacks the balance of the game, this fresh meat. So I think fresh meat should be removed. Definitely is not for me a good idea. Or at least, yeah, I think the idea was to go above 600 to allow you some unit with magical banner and so on. But I think it shouldn't be possible. So you should be able to go above 600, but not above the limitation of the max model according army book. That should be the fix, definitely. Guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you liked it. It was a bit different. I hope this will be helpful for the staff. I hope so. Like I said, I try to be constructive and give inputs. If you want to give also your opinion, you might agree or disagree. The comment section is there. And I will talk to you soon in another battle report. Take care. Goodbye.